Jamie's YouTube blueprint increased videos to 3 million views, 7 million, and some even reaching 34 million views.
Yeah, the key thing as well is like leveraging that success for all of the other formats within that content category, but then creating other ideas off the back of it and just, improving the quality with all the videos that are released.
In this episode, he reveals his exact method to come up with banger ideas, titles, and thumbnails that have led to hundreds of millions of views. So this video with 7 million views not only exploded Simon's channel, going from 50k views to millions per video, but also sparked an entire trend on this format on YouTube.
Yep.
So what I was wondering is, what did you get the inspiration for this video from?
I would say with Simon, the secret that he's really had is sticking with formats that aren't extremely hard to produce. So a lot of his sort of success has come from him being on the street, talking to people and saying, what is your dream? And that blew him up to 4 million people on TikTok, literally saying, what is your dream? Helping people make it happen. And I feel with that video that has gone absolutely viral, 7 million views, Simon said it is one of the most viewed business videos on YouTube. It's sticking with that. YouTube as well is really optimizing for long form content, but they're absolutely war with Netflix for the TV screen behind him. If they can be the provider and platform to keep eyeballs and attention on the TV screen, it opens them up so much to market capitalization. Netflix is worth about 250 billion. I'm touching about so many different areas here, but yeah, I'm letting everything go. So 2.5 hours of raw business content that is low lift and TV optimized is a recipe for success. It was sort of an experimental thing. No one in the team thought it would explode that much, but that's what happens with YouTube. I think so many viral absolute bangers explode and you'd be like, right, we want this to be a viral banger. You want every video to be, but you never really know which one is gonna explode. That one did. Simon has now produced probably 5 or 6 or 7 videos off the back of it. So the main one's got 7 million views. I'd say the others have probably got around 3 million views, and that has just exploded his channel. He's gained 270,000 subscribers from that one video alone. So yeah, it was a game changer.
How did you guys think about that thumbnail specifically? And then the title?
The thumbnail is pretty standard. It's 0 to 1 million, I believe it is, with a red arrow behind his face. It's 3D, the background's blurred. And I was actually trying to destruct this a little bit recently, is like, what are some very simple things that you can do to increase the click-through rate and the perceived quality of a thumbnail? And yeah, a couple of the things I just mentioned fall into that. So you want it to be 3D, you want it to be very simple, you want it to be very sharp of where the focus is. So ways you can do that is either dim the background to add contrast to the forefront, or blur the background to add contrast to the forefront. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, if you look at the thumbnail, it's not crazy to create. It doesn't take years of strategy to come up with. It's 0, million, 3D arrow behind Simon's face. Simon's high definition photo there and slightly dim background to add that contrast. So
what made you guys decide to go from what he was doing, like 10, 15 minute videos, to go straight up to 2 hours and a half? And that was your first video working with him?
No, I worked with him probably about 5 uploads before. What were we working on? At the time we were working on the Dreamer videos, which is a bit more traditional. And yeah, I think Simon just wanted to experiment with something a little bit different, go big. And yeah, he's a funny guy, Simon. Like, I think he's sort of just winging it. But the thing that he's so good at is his passion and his actual knowledge. And so he's so open to trying so many different things. And as a result, he brings in talented people who are super hungry to grow with him. And yeah, it was a format that he tried and it absolutely exploded for him. And I think the key thing as well is like leveraging that success for all of the other formats within that content category, but then creating other ideas off the back of it and just, improving the quality with all the videos that are released.
And the title? Was that inspired from something, or how do you guys, because that's been used everywhere now?
Something that I always think about that I've seen cropping up a little bit of time, and this is mentioned in the psychology book Influence by Robert Cialdini. There's 6 or 7 different ways to influence people. One of them is social proof. Another one is authority. And so a trend that I'm sort of seeing on YouTube is authority, basically. How can you get your authority into your titles? And so this title, which was 30 years of business knowledge in 2 hours, 26 minutes, 30 years is very authoritative, and not many people had really talked about that amount of time in business on YouTube before. We had seen the time of the video on YouTube perform well previously. I think Alex Hormozy's previously first highest ever performing video was the best sales training in 33 minutes. Same as Layla Hormozy's highest performing video. This is a few years ago now, so it's a little bit, it's not the highest performer anymore, but she did something similar. It was like the best way to upskill in 47 minutes, something like that. So we had seen the length of the video mentioned, especially for long form videos, pretty much only with long form videos for that. But then the other thing that was interesting is, yeah, including that authority from a time basis. So 30 years of business knowledge in 2 hours, 26 minutes. Another example where I've seen that is people use other ways to use authority with things like computer science degree. So an entire computer science degree in 14 minutes. Computer science degree, really hard to get. It's got this perceived value of $60,000 per year, $50,000 per year, whatever it is, 100K in total. So yeah, think about how you can add weighting behind your packaging with authority, which could be time-based, which could be something like a degree, it could be, I don't know, a watch, it could be an experience of managing 5,000 people. But yeah, that was an interesting thing that I sort of flagged that is worth exploring. I think there's more stuff in there, basically.
Really interesting. And what was the process for doing a 2 hours and a half video? Like, how long did it take from idea to, like, did he script the whole thing? How was that produced?
To be honest, I was a little bit far away from the actual scripting process. Like, I was mainly checking in with him and the team like once every week on strategy and improving the quality of the videos and stuff like that. But yeah, with this one, I think it was really just him and the team going to his house. He said he just wanted to absolutely debrief absolutely everything. They filmed everything. They filmed the hook. And yeah, the interesting thing that I thought was interesting was the best practices around a hook was kind of blown out the window with this very long video. If you watch the first 5 minutes of that video, it is always just like, it's basically just hook, 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 hook. Where normally you'd want to deliver quite fast, but as it was like a 2.5 hour video, I was like, if you cannot watch to the end of this video, then you're never going to be successful. You need to watch. Basically, you didn't really get into the first point until about 5 minutes in. If you do that for a medium form length video, 13 to 18 minutes, man, you're toast. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting observation. But yeah, he filmed it super fucking fast anyway, basically. Yeah, he had his team go to his house, put everything on a A3 piece of paper and just started going from there.
And after that winner, you guys got another winner right after, right? I invested 50K into a stranger's business. How did that come about as an idea?
Mate, again, this one is one of them that the team have sort of like, bloody hell, these are just flying, aren't they? I don't think anyone would have put their money on these two videos as being such huge outliers. You know, maybe 3x, 5x outliers. These are absolute beasts. 7 million and 4 million views that I'm just looking at now. Absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, that whole format was an interesting one. It's one that me and Callum, that is one that I work like really, really closely on sort of trying to nail. We sort of saw the channel having two content categories. One of them being sort of long form education videos. The second one being dreamer videos. And the dreamer videos are much more extension of the short form videos. So Simon, be on the street, he'd interview 20 people. The ones that had gone viral on his TikTok, Instagram, Reels and YouTube Shorts, and they've got like a great story to tell. That's where we do a dreamer video on them. And that was sort of the case with the video that got 3.9 million views and really exploded. It performed really, really well in short form. And then we just did a dreamer video on working with that person, turning a dream into a reality. And yeah, now that's like a solid format that we've done plenty of times. So yeah, I helped him start a business with zero. That's on nearly 500,000 views. The Black Pearl restaurant, 400K views. Actually, this is a little while away. But yeah, that is a format that was like consciously decided on and just worked on and improved. One thing I say, ideas on YouTube have got the highest leverage on success. Formats have the highest leverage on ideas. So one video idea can get 7 million views and generate 270,000 subscribers. But then you can then create 5 video ideas off the back of that. They might not generate 270,000 subscribers, but they might generate 10, 20, 30,000 subscribers each. And so it's an interesting, I think there's two parts of that strategy. One of them is finding those asymmetric growth videos that explode your channel. But then the next one is cementing those into repeatable categories. And that's what me and Callum worked. Callum was his creative director. That's what me and Callum worked on quite closely. The thing that I'd say when you're identifying a format that you're going to repeat, you want to know what are the success factors. So like, what are going to be the variables of the highest performing video? So for Simon, it's meeting someone who's got a big dream. They've got to have a big dream. They've got to have an emotional backstory. They've got to be personable, relatable, like people that look good on camera. they've got to be someone who Simon can have like a transformation experience with. If they're trying to set up a aerospace company, I guess Simon could introduce them to someone at NASA, but he can't really give them 10K that will completely transform their lives. If someone's going to set up a pottery business, Simon can give them 10K to transform their lives. So yeah, the person transformation in there is in there.
It's very relatable as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyone in the street can have that dream and actually make it happen, which is crazy.
Exactly, man. And that's sort of part of like the emotional story. You really want as many people, I think about this as wide as many people to relate to this person as deeply as possible. So that's where like the emotional story comes in. So once you've sort of defined the key areas of a format success, it's then basically deciding which videos you want to create off the back of it. So do we want to work with this person who doesn't hit the criteria or this person that does? So many channels will not define that and work with 5 people, only 1 or 2 of which will be good. You just wasted 3 videos output there. So yeah, we'll go after the one that fits the criteria best, and then you'll work out the key areas of the video, the hooks, the storytelling aspects, the retention aspects, how to end the video really strong, how to do a brand deal if that's part of it. And essentially, once you've got those 4 key points, then you just reviewing them every single time you do an upload. So we do 1, 3, 4, 5 parts of that video. One of them, the brand deal wasn't quite great. How are we going to improve that? Another time it'd be, we didn't really big up that challenge. And so, yeah, you want to be you want to define what that format is, the key points to make it happen, and then, and that's when the videos really start compounding and getting better every single time you upload.
Also on that video, again, on thumbnail and title, how do you guys come about for those? Because the thumbnail has been used again and again, and every time it's crushing.
Thumbnail's an interesting one, man. I've been thinking about this recently. I feel like everyone knows thumbnails have the highest leverage on success and the positioning of an idea. But I sort of feel as though it is like, I've got 2 hands like this, 2 hands in fists, right? And one of them has got a coin in, and you've got to try and find the one with a coin in, and if you win, you get to keep the coin. Maybe it's 10 cents, 10 pence, something, not very much. If I say you're going to win 10 million pounds or dollars if you pick the one with the coin in, you're going to spend ages, you're going to analyze all the hands, you're going to ring up your friends, you're going to spend so much mental energy working out this thing, when really, that's not gaining you any extra data. It's not actually helping you choose. It's just it's just basically wasting your time and energy. So I think that's sort of the same with thumbnails. I think you've got your best practices, have a really clear message. What is the most attractable aspect of this idea that we can package around? Let's analyze the data. Let's see what's worked. Let's come up with a few concepts ourselves. Let's see how it looks on the platform with thumbnail check or something like that. That's all you can really do, man. And then A/B test it at the end. So yeah, that's sort of the process we take. I'm always quite keen, stick with the best practices, but don't go absolutely crazy, because that's when you start going around in circles, you get anxious, you start second doubting yourself.
Actually, a random question. What would you say is the percentage of success of a video between, so ideas, title, thumbnail together versus the rest? So like editing, storytelling, audio, all that.
I'd say you can't really have one without the other, but I'd say 80% of it is title, thumbnail, hook, and then the next 80% is the next thing. But I'd say you still need a good rest of the video, but you can kill it with the packaging and the hook. The example that I use is Max Fosh has got this video where he became the richest person in the world, and he had Elon Musk behind him looking a little bit poorer, him in front of it. It was an idea that me and Zach actually had when running our YouTube channel, but we just couldn't think of how we could make it an engaging video. It was amazing packaging, but we just couldn't think of how to make it a good video. Max sort of like has it, you have it. We shared lots of ideas at the time. That absolutely explodes. He gets 7 million views on his long form video. I think he got over 12 million views on his short form video. I actually think he might have got like 60 million views on his short form video. But that video absolutely exploded for him. And yeah, the actual quality of the content, the stakes in the video were absolutely minimal. He basically set up a company, sold 1 share, and that was it. And yeah, it got about 60, 70 million views from it. So that's sort of the power of packaging there.
Max Fosh is the one I think a lot as well, where packaging is what can help drive a lot of the views. There's like one video where I wrote movie spoilers on Bald's Man's Head, 5 million views. Exactly. That idea is insane. When you think about it, it's nothing crazy, but again, the packaging and the fact that it's funny led to a lot of people watching that video.
But I would also say, man, like when someone says that concept to me, I think it's the concept that is performing well. not the packaging. Like, I think, how are we going to strategically package around this really great original idea? Well, it's just going to be bold people with some blurring and an arrow. You know what I mean? It's like that concept is so good, and I think people get a little bit lost with, like, if you've got a basic concept, you spend ages on this thumbnail. Man, you've got a basic concept. Like, you get the best thumbnail in the world, it's not going to match actual content. People are going to drop off, and you're going to lose the viewers. So,
following on that, you had another crazy win recently with Dan Go with 100x outlier at 3 million views. I'm 44 if your 20s watch this. And again, it's led to a format being used everywhere.
Yeah.
How did you think about that one?
Yeah, man. That was a page out the playbook, that one, Richard. I gotta say. Again, ideas have the highest leverage on growth, the highest leverage activity anyone can do, but specifically entrepreneurs entering this space is see which videos in their niche, around their niche, have ever performed well on YouTube. So one thing I say, YouTube as a platform has got more valuable open data than any other social platform. There is no other social platform where you can actively see what's performed really well. If you go on TikTok and you're an entrepreneur, it's so hard to pull in everything that has performed well previously in short form content. Same on Reels, same on Twitter. But YouTube, you can do that with the most popular button. So yeah, so useful asset there. I found a video from this channel called like Darian Explains or something. A middle-aged guy who self-taught himself how to code. He did a jiu-jitsu competition. His second ever highest performing video had, I think it was 1.9 million views, and he had 280,000 subscribers. It was a very unique thumbnail, black, clean face, white writing, it's too late. And yeah, Dan was like, man, I'm thinking about doing this video. It's performed quite well on Twitter. I'd already done this really solid like niche analysis for him, which I do for entrepreneurs. And yeah, we packaged that up very simply. Absolutely exploded, man. It's on 3.3 million views now. He's generated 40,000 subscribers from that one video. Yeah, he's grown, I think it's 100,000 subscribers since releasing that video. So 47,000 has come from that one video, but then the sort of washover is another 45,000.
You're changing lives, Jamie.
I actually don't think it's the creators' lives that I change, but I like the idea that I change lives with the people viewing the content, you know, like the hope that people get from watching Simon Squibb give business advice, give out money. That video that went super viral for Dan, it was how to live a conscious life, how to be healthy, how to basically live a life that you won't regret. And that's reached 3 million people. I'm quite happy that it's a great message that 3 million people have now seen, and I've helped it be amplified.
You did say in your tweet breaking down this idea that you did a niche analysis of more than 10,000 videos, right? To find what works. But what does your analysis process look like? And what are you looking for? Curious to hear more about it.
So yeah, this is the process that I do with any entrepreneur that I work with. I would say I sort of sit in the entrepreneurial space. I think it's a little bit different to an entertainment channel or a gaming channel or something. There are probably quite a lot of crossovers, but for entrepreneurs, you know, that's sort of my lane. What are we looking for? We are looking for anything that has ever triggered their ideal audience to click. And that ideal audience can be close, where it's very, very linked to their niche. For example, if you're in digital marketing, we want to see what has performed the best in digital marketing. But also, if you're sort of appealing to aspiring entrepreneurs, we also want to be looking at mindset things that have performed well, or even the health things that have performed well. Like I said, that the original concepts that got 1.9 million views that informed Dan's video that got 3 million views, that was not in his niche, really. So yeah, we're looking for basically anything that has caused someone to triggered someone to click, and then pulling it all together, categorizing it all up, and then creating a roadmap and video ideas and packaging off the back of that.
Love it. How long does it take you to do these research?
About 3 weeks. 3 weeks of full-time work.
Wow, it's 3 weeks for one video, or for like a whole content strategy?
Yeah, whole content strategy, yeah. I mean, because basically what I found is, like, I could hop on a call and chat with someone on coming up with video ideas, and, you know, I could probably come up with some good ones, but the devil really is in the detail. You do not want to leave one stone unturned, because it'll be that one video that you couldn't really be bothered finding that has got this huge outlier status. And yeah, they're very rarely on the surface, because if they are, 25, 100 other YouTubers have tried it. So yeah.
You have all this knowledge through your experience in the past 5-6 years. So I'm curious, it all started with the Zach and Jay show, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Exactly. I'm curious, how, just going back, how did you guys start the channel? What's the story there?
Me and Zach met at university. So I was at university 2013. We were studying this weird little entrepreneurship degree. He was setting up this company that was not plastic bottled water, but cartoned. I had this other company, which was like a technology company, both doing weird stuff, basically. I ended up leaving my company. He ended up leaving his company. We started sneaking into events, and yeah, the first one that we did properly was the Olympic ceremony. I think it was 2016, this one. The Olympics, for the first time ever, were travelling around Manchester, where I'm from, and we bought the kit from an online sports retailer. We looked exactly the same. We had the tracksuits, we had the shoes, we had the medal, and yeah, it was funny, man. Like, Zach had a little camera that he was filming with. All of these famous Olympians who just won gold and represented our nation around the world were on these massive buses going around Manchester. Me and Zach just walked on as if we owned the place. And yeah, we got on and it was absolutely fine. We were waving to, I think there was about 100,000 people at the time in Manchester. So we were waving at hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of people, won't exaggerate, as Olympians. That video ended up going super viral. Someone interviewed me and Zach while we were actually on the float and said, "Why are you doing, what did you win?" And I said, "We've won the fencing." And he's like, there wasn't fencing, it was just pentathletes, I think it was. We're like, "Oh no, we've been rumbled." By the time we'd got home, Zach hadn't even uploaded that video. That clip from the news channel went so viral. That was the moment that me and Zach were like, okay, there's something interesting here. We ended up setting a channel about a year and a half later. And yeah, that was the Zach and Jay show, and we did loads of that stuff. Zach went super viral as well, sneaking backstage with Conor McGregor, sneaking into the ring of boxing events. But that was sort of that was the start of YouTube.
And so I always say YouTube is one of the most fun path one could take, literally in life. Like you get to meet interesting, creative people, but you also end up in very unique positions. And I'm curious for you, what was the most fun experience you had during the Zach and Jay?
I would say being an entrepreneur, YouTube can be really fun. Being an entertainment entrepreneur can be really, really fun. I would say I think there's a bit of a trend with this faceless stuff, isn't there? I'd say a faceless YouTube channel, that is one of the worst. That is my idea of hell, man.
It's another world. Yeah.
The autonomous, what's it called? Autonomous YouTube channels, whatever it is. Mate, you sat behind a screen, you're analysing YouTube all day. You aren't actually creating any content you're passionate about. You just, like it's a demand and supply problem. You're putting out content that you think will perform so you can make an extra 2K a month. That to me isn't that fun, and it's very, very, very hard. The entertainment side, I completely agree, man. It is something that it just gives you a real excuse to go and sort of be the best version of yourself, to overcome fears, to push yourself when you're nervous, to connect with people around the world. I sort of missed that, man. I was in Portugal last month and really nice area, all these mansions. I was like, I want to knock on and see what these guys do. If I had a camera and a YouTube channel, that'd be normal. If I was on my own, weird as anything. Sorry, that was the first part of the question. What you asked, what was the best?
What was one experience that that was the most fun for you?
Yeah. One that comes out, and this was not fun. It was year one of our YouTube channel. We'd gained about 400,000 subscribers, and we were in this TV show, me and Zach. There was 8 episodes. And again, first year of YouTube, we were all quite new to it. On this TV show, we were set different challenges of just doing crazy stuff, basically, and the judges had to decide, are they going to do this or not? One of the challenges was sneak into a red carpet with Leonardo DiCaprio for his red carpet event in London. It wasn't just that. We did that. That's easy. That's our bread and butter. We had to give him a bear hug, like literally run up to him, grab him. And honestly, our YouTube channel, we did some crazy stuff, but we always felt that it was like a net plus to society. We didn't harm anyone. We maybe pissed off a few security guards, but it was all, there was no one who was getting hurt at the end of it. And I just thought that was like crossing the line, and this TV show really, really wanted us to do it. We'd already snuck in I think it was the Odeon in London or something, really big event. We shouldn't have been there. The idea of going up to Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the world's biggest stars, and hugging him, not great. That was the one that stuck out, man. There is literally so many amazing memories of that channel. So I don't want you guys to think that it's that's the negative thing is only. But that's the one that stands out for me.
Was that the one that made you maybe rethink everything and led to leaving?
No, I think that was a gradual build up, to be honest, man. I was 25. So yeah, I started, I think when I was 23, 25, 2.5 years later. I don't know, man. I was like 7 years of entrepreneurship, and finally I had 900,000 subscribers, was making good money, living in London, sort of living the dream. And I don't know, man, I just had this gnawing feeling of like, is this it? And the idea of going from 0 subscribers at the beginning to 1 million subscribers, man, that's so exciting. Let's fucking do it. I've got my best friend Zach. We're going to be traveling. We're going to be doing all this. It's going to be great. But the idea of going from 1 million subscribers to 10 million, oh my God, it filled me with absolute dread. And so much of my worldview had been based on like the future of getting success. But I'd never really thought what happens once you get success. And I think the pursuit of success has you focus on the future, which is sort of a numbing experience and an anxious experience. But once you get those things, you can't really sort of keep lying to yourself and say, the future's the answer, the future's the answer. So for the first time in my life, of 7 years, in fact, I was looking around my life and going, man, is this what I want? Am I happy? Is this it? I'm just going to be constantly chasing. And the answer was no. And I was super confused because I didn't really know what life was about without success. And also, the thing that I'd been working so hard for 7 years, I'd finally achieved, and I was going to walk away. But yeah, that's what I did. So I think it was a cumulative build-up until that stage, and that's what caused it to walk away, really.
Well, I guess, yeah, YouTube has both sides, basically.
It does, man. It really does. And I think it's an interesting thing, man. I think you've got your human side of success. I think so many humans think all of their answers will be solved once you achieve success. And it's not. And then you've also got the YouTube pressure side, which is, man, this is a game that is, if you're looking for a game that is like the opposite of a positive environment for your mental health, YouTube is fucking there, man. Every unit of effort that you put into the work that you do is judged publicly for everyone to see in the form of views. You've got 1 of 10. This is the best performing or worst performing video of the last 10. It is comparison is the thief of joy, is a saying, is a quote. You're comparing constantly with other people in your space because their results are so public. So man, it's a deadly game for the mind. We've got negativity bias, so we really raise a focus sharp on the negative thing in our lives. So 1 comment out of every 100 that's negative, our mind's going to that one, not the 99 saying this video was great. So yeah, I think there's a couple things there on the YouTube side as well.
Well, talking about 1 of 10, how about we talk about your most viewed video on the Zach and Jay show, the fake model one? Yeah. How did you guys think about that one? Got 34 million views.
Yeah, I would say this is a page straight out of my playbook. Zach may disagree, but we chat about this. This is from my playbook, this one. And by the way, this was not a playbook until after I left the channel and was like, right, I need a bit of a playbook to work with these entrepreneurs. But yeah, this is where I sort of created it from. Again, ideas have got the highest leverage on growth. For anyone listening that doesn't know what the hell we're talking about, this is a video. It's a video called We Faked a Model to the Top of Fashion Week. It got 34 million views. We were about 6 months into the channel when we released this. I believe we gained 190,000 subscribers within 1 month of this video uploading. Previously, we'd had about 50,000 subscribers, so 4x our channel. Absolutely exploded for us. And yeah, it was absolutely game-changing. We were pretty much running out of cash until we released that one. How did we come up with that concept? I'd seen a Yes Theory video absolutely explode a couple months before, where they fooled the internet with Justin Bieber eating a burrito sideways. I believe that got 22 million views. And yeah, Zach was a world-class editor, world-class storyteller, still is. Amazing. And I was sort of in this pocket of sort of scanning the radar of what could be an opportunity to create content around. And yeah, saw this video explode with Yes Theory a couple months before, was scanning what was coming up, saw Fashion Week, spoke to Zach, he thought, yeah, why not? That sounds a good idea. Text Max Fosh, mate, we want you to be in a video. And yeah, man, the rest is history, really. We went and filmed it, absolutely exploded, and changed our lives forever.
Okay, wow, you would say that one video changed your lives forever?
100%. Like, no sports. We had 2 months of savings, man. Like, honestly, I was looking at getting a bar job. Zach was looking at freelance editor. If that happened, I just think the energy that went into the channel, I always feel people can feel the energy that is put into art when they're viewing this art. They can feel the effort that is put in. If you're good, if you're bad, your energy that you're putting in is just still coming out as a bad product. But if you're world class at what you do, people feel the energy that you put in. And man, I think if I had a job, if Zach was editing as a freelancer, we wouldn't have been able to put in that same energy. So yeah, I absolutely think that video changed our lives.
And that was after how many years of uploads? Was that, or months?
It's a bit of a weird one. That was 6 months of the Zach and Jay show.
Yeah, exactly. Because I always tell people exactly that. You're one video away of blowing up and literally life-changing. Basically, you're the proof that can happen.
Yeah, I think the caveat there is you need to have minimum platform standard content. So that's something that I sort of talk about, is like you can have the best strategy in the world, the best package in the world. Look at the highest performers in your niche, the creators. Look at their average videos. Do you have videos that are just as good as that? Because realistically, you need videos better than that, because YouTube needs to show your video over something that's already working. So I think, yeah, you do just need one video to blow up, but you also need to be able to sustain that with videos that are platform standard.
And earlier you talked about formats being really important. One that you guys did was I asked Millionaires if I could do something, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys come about with that format?
Yeah, again, man, that's like a real key thing for YouTube strategy. Ideas have got the highest leverage on growth. Formats have the highest leverage on ideas. Even to this day, the first highest performing video on the channel, 34 million views. We faked to model to the top of Fashion Week. I faked Grandpa to the top of Fashion Week is number 3 with 8.4 million views. I retrospectively look back at the 100 million views that we gained on the channel. 63% came from just 4 content categories. And that was sneaking into events, Fashion Week, strange traditions, and I think it was the things that we did with strange animals. Sounds weirder than it is. But yeah, how did we come up with the millionaire one? This was an interesting one as well, man. I'd seen a lot of people really explode with the concept of DMing 10 celebrities to see how many would respond. And yeah, just absolutely exploded. If you type that in now, the thumbnails look exactly the same. The videos are pretty much exactly the same, but it absolutely exploded. Me and Zach, we tried to keep things very original. So we were like, right, what about this concept is performing well? And I think a lot of people put celebrities on these pedestals that they can access the sort of an exclusive circles. They can access exclusive circles. They want to see this veil behind fame and money. We were like, right, what concepts can we do around there? And then we just started saying, right, why don't we do the physical version of that digital thing of DMing people, and why don't we knock on doors? So the first video we did was knocking on mansions to see who would let us inside or something like that. And that got 2 million views. Zach's done a few more, knocking on millionaires' houses to swim in their pools, 2 million views, something like that. Knocking on mansions to see if I can fly in the helicopters, stuff like that. But yeah, basically that's where the concept came from. And then formats have got the highest leverage on ideas, so it was rinsed and repeated.
How would you prepare for those videos? What's the production like on those, like sneaking into whatever? Back
in the day, there wasn't as much preparation as I would do now, stepping out, analysing the space and how to operate it the best way. But yeah, to be honest, man, like when we were first starting out, like that Fashion Week video, for example, I don't think we had a video plan on paper. I think it was, right, we'll go buy some stuff in Primark, we'll do the Fashion Week, whatever. Now what I'd say is you want to be super razor sharp on what is the key thing that people are watching this concept for. So with something like Berghain, what is the key thing that people are watching for? One, the sheer curiosity factor of this club that not many people have heard of before, that is just a crazy story. So how do we maximize that emotion and feeling? And then bigging up the second.
Because anything can happen. It's so unpredictable, those
anything can happen, right? So I think it is just like those two things of like, right, we want to maximize this core emotion of surprise and shock that this thing exists, but then we want to build up and like sort of convert that as, can we get in and anything can happen, and sort of use that as an advantage.
3 years after leaving the Zach and Jay channel, looking back, was that the good move? Do you have any regrets? Curious to hear about that.
I would say, Richard, I'm in a very good place in life. I would say I am much less focused on business as a be-all and end-all. I'm much more balanced. I think it would be very hard to get to that without taking a sort of declaring emotional bankruptcy and leaving the YouTube channel. But yeah, do I miss aspects of it? Absolutely. Do I regret it? No. It's tough to look back and sort of like say whether it's regret or not, you know, because it's led me to where I'm at today. It's a bit cliche, but yeah, man, like, yeah. I think like if I was doing what I was doing with the mindset I'm at now and sort of how I view the world, see the world, I think I would have done it differently. But yeah, I sort of did need to step away to get that perspective.
And going back to YouTube strategy, which is what you're doing now, basically, you've worked with a lot of clients. And what would you say are the 3 most common mistakes YouTubers make when trying to grow their channels? I know you've seen quite a few.
I wanna think about this, Richard. I'd say you've got the entertainment people and you've got the education entrepreneurs. I think those are slightly 2 different pieces of advice I'd give. The number 1 mistake that is holding back creators and entrepreneurs from living their creator dream is their introductions are just too long. So in this video, we're going to do this, 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 we're going to do this. They've clicked on the video. They already want to receive what you are going to do. They already have an idea of what this video is going to provide. That's why they've clicked. Like a great click-through rate, 92% of people are still deciding not to click. So you've done it. You've won their attention, the 8%. Now it's actually getting into the value of this video and maybe setting up loosely, but yeah, getting into the value of this video. And if you look at Alex Hormozy's second highest performing video, it's 13 seconds before his first point on this major blueprint on how to make your first million. If you look at Dan Go's video, it used to be 2 minutes, 30 seconds before he got into the first point of a video with 5 points. Hey, what are you doing? Now it's the video that exploded for him, it's 9 seconds. So that's the number 1 thing that people do wrong is sort of have way too long intros. I'd say from a creator point of view, I think the number 1 mistake people make is they don't diversify their revenue. And I'm very hesitant to say that because there's a lot of different revenue streams available. So I'd probably reword that instead as they need to be thinking of a long-term sustainable business unless they are an actor. So I feel Max Fosh is much more a creator's creator. He did singing. I'm sure he was in a lot of plays when he was younger. He's like a presenter, right? He's more of that, I'd say, than an entrepreneur who wants to build a business. And so Max, the idea of being in front of screens for 20, 30 years sounds absolutely great if you can make a life from it and build his brand. For an entrepreneur, for me, from more my side, I'd say, the idea of being a presenter and needing to show up and look good and sound good and basically do what other people say is how I sort of visualize that. I hate the idea of that. So for the Zach and Jay show, this is the thing that I would have done differently, is to just focus on setting up a complementary business that is scalable with the content. And that way you're way less reliant on views and ad and brands. And yeah, you're just a little bit more diversified. You can sort of dance around a little bit between the two and create when you're inspired, not because you have to.
Talking about long hooks, what do you think is the best for this podcast? A montage of clips or a quick intro on like your accomplishments for social proof and like key points we talked about?
I'd probably say like a hook. You want to be doing hooks basically, like a montage, or in this video we cover this. What I probably do is you script what the best hook looks like and then think how is that best complemented with what I say, and my story, like what I've said, and complementary clips, but write the best hook possible and then complement it with bits of the conversation, then jump in. Because because I think for long form
clip and then
because I think for long form content you need to. That's what I was saying before. Is like you sort of need to fight for their attention a bit more. You need to do longer hooks to sell why they should stay a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, love that. I'll do it.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah, and I think potentially even just like rehook to have a bit more emphasis on. I've delivered chapter 1 in. Stay here, guys, because in the next section we're going to cover X, Y, Z. Can't believe it. Or what a great point. We're going to then cover X, Y, Z and rehook people because, I just think it's a different ballgame when people are watching on TVs. You're selling them to stay way more than on shorter videos where they're kind of coming for an outcome.
You think I should rehook you guys, the viewers, with me just filming something extra, or during the pod I'm like, guys?
I do think that, Richard, though. I do think like the best practice for doing podcasts is thinking, right, I've got this guest, this is their background, these are the assets they're bringing to the podcast. What is the spiciest, most viral aspects of that? And identifying and literally writing out 5 hooks they could say, telling me or the guest, and then setting them up for them to say it. Ideally, you'd want it to be natural. Ideally, you'd want it naturally within a conversation. But I think that's an interesting way to think about and do it.
Yeah, that makes sense, because by saying that, basically, stay around, because Jamie is going to talk about insane strategy tips that he uses to grow billion-dollar companies. I'm so not good on off the cuff. Yeah, you're probably better. What would you say? What would you do?
Right, bear with me, right? This could be bad. Right.
Go for it.
We are facing, Richard, 2 macroeconomic trends that is exploding YouTube on the smartphone. We have never seen before more power in the individual's hand to maximize their profit, their purpose, and essentially their life potential. All you need to do is follow these steps. It's crazy. So that is like an example of how we'd set up a hook, basically, is what I'm thinking.
That's a rehook.
Yeah.
So now you guys got to stay until the end. Before jumping to that, Morning Brew. You've worked with that billion-dollar company. How was that experience?
I think they're worth about 200 million, mate. The founders are only about 29, so I don't think the 800 million matters that much, but yeah.
Okay. I'll re-say that then.
No, it's kind of funny, man. It's a kind of funny part of it, I think. Like, what's 800 million when you're already worth 50 million or whatever? Yeah, working with Morning Brew was cool. I think it was the first time that I'd really stepped into an organization that were finding it so difficult to grow on a platform that me and Zach sort of did straight out of university. So yeah, man, they had about 20 full-time staff going absolutely crazy. They had 26 different formats. They were all shot super nicely on expensive cameras. And I think, as me and you, and hopefully many of the listeners know, that is not how you grow on YouTube. So yeah, man, 16 full-time staff in New York. I don't know what the salary is, but you can do the maths. It was very expensive. Cutting all that down and just focusing on one content category, which is what they're doing now, way better. So I think the key lesson for me there was, it isn't about the resources you put in. It's sort of a minimum threshold of resources times by YouTube strategy. That's where the golden goose lays the golden egg.
Because they were spending pretty much like over 100K per month, but mainly on production is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, man, they weren't even growing. I think they grew like 1,700 subscribers the month that I signed them. So man, I don't even know. I think that's like 10 grand every 170 subscribers per month. It's pretty mad. And again, I don't want to take credit for like their success, because they're absolutely killing it now. But I definitely showed them what to not do and like said it strongly and firmly, you know. Now,
you started your channel 6 years ago, but if you started a YouTube channel in 2025, what would you do now?
Ooh, good question. Man, it's funny, man, because there are so many entertaining videos that I could do. Como sabes, he vivido en Mexico por 3 años ahora. Because as you know, I've lived in Mexico for 3 years now. Mate, this country is wild in the most beautiful way possible. There was a headline the other day, a mayor of a very strange sort of place in Mexico married a crocodile for good luck. People, yeah, absolutely, mate, what an amazing video that would be. Visiting the Mexican mayor who married a crocodile, the packaging. Oh, God. What else is there? So, yeah, there's an abandoned city in Mexico with no laws. They don't speak Spanish. They speak the indigenous language before the Spanish came and conquered Mexico. So, yeah, man. I mean, yes, they have literally done that video, the abandoned city in the US with no laws. And there's so many content ideas in Mexico. I've done 2 times now the ancient Mexican spiritual rebirth tradition called the Temazcal, where it's a womb-shaped sort of sauna, and you crawl in, and you've got a shaman there, and you've got loads of super hot fire. And the idea is that you crawl out, and you've got a new soul. You've got a spiritual rebirth. Mate, there's so many video ideas to do here.
I think I saw that Malcolm in the middle. Anyway,
could have been, buddy, could he? But to be honest, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't want to create content around that. For me, I almost see those entertaining videos. Before I said they really encourage you to do crazy stuff, and they do. But I see it as like Kendrick Lamar's album title, To Pimp a Butterfly. You've got a beautiful, rare experience with your best friend, You got to capture it. You got to nail the hook. Got to nail the beats of the story. You know. So I think in one sense it does add to your life because you're pushed to do lots of things. But I do also think it takes away a little bit. Point is, not too keen on the entertainment stuff there. I think the business stuff would be really, really cool. I think, yeah, this space is absolutely exploding. What the power YouTube gives to entrepreneurs is insane. So yeah, I'd be interested in creating content around that again, I think, in the future.
Yeah, on the entrepreneur side, it is crazy. I'm seeing it more and more every day. Like last week, I saw a crypto meme trader growing his MRR from 30K to 80K MRR, just with YouTube videos getting 2,000 views, which is crazy when you think about it.
Oh man, it's absolutely insane. When you dive deeper into the business side of YouTube, it's absolutely staggering. Yeah, one of my clients, they had 1 million subscribers. I started working with about 150K. They got to 1 million. They were making $1 million a month through YouTube. And yeah, man, when me and Zach had 1 million subscribers, we were definitely not doing that. And there was another guy I spoke to yesterday. He was getting about 90,000 views per month, not per video, per month. And yeah, he was doing about 320K, I think he did, in dollars that month. Absolutely insane. So yeah, I think the potential for business people on YouTube with a complementary scalable offer, powerful.
Earlier, you talked about that it takes you about 3 weeks to do the market research. But what does the day-to-day look like in those 3 weeks to really pinpoint that right idea? Like what exactly are you doing?
Yeah, I'd say the first stage, and this is giving the secret sauce away, by the way. There's a lot of aspiring YouTubers, aspiring content strategists that I'm sure will be taking notes heavily, and by all means take those notes. Because yeah, this is something I've worked on quite a lot, and it's pretty much like the core aspects of my business. But yeah, I'd say the first stage is making sure you're super, super clear on the goals of the creator. A lot of the time is not to go viral. You really need to put into account the brand. You want to think what they can be best in the world at. You want to think what they can enjoy, and yeah, really use that. You then want to go away and type in titles that they would like to upload and see everything that's performed really well, and just basically go crazy through that methodology. So you're clear on where they're at. You then do the research process on what performs well within that. And then finally do some sort of collection process that pulls in all of the sort of individual videos and data points you found, categorize it, and then turn those into video ideas that creator or entrepreneur can create from. So it's a mix of getting on the same page, doing messy research, pulling that in so it's neat, and then marrying that same page that we originally talked about with the data that's performed well. There you go, there's your roadmap.
I feel you really focus on ideas, but earlier you were talking thumbnail is maybe a separate part of the process. Do you really focus on the idea and then think about the thumbnail, or do you combine both the packaging and the idea together to figure it out?
It's interesting. I think for entrepreneurs, it's a bit different with the entertainment space, but for entrepreneurs, the idea sort of is the packaging. So Dan's idea of, I think it was 44 truths I know at 44, I wish I knew at 20. That's just like, that could be packaged as tips to be healthy. That could be packaged as tips to improve when you're 20. How to not regret life. There's so many different ways of packaging it, and that's literally not changed at all the content. So it's like finding the packaging first, and then more like putting your ideas and adapting your ideas into the packaging. But for creators, it's a little bit different because Max Fosh of becoming the richest person in the world, that wouldn't work for any of the videos he's filmed, yet for Dango, it would. So yeah, it's a little bit different for the entertainment space.
And how do you go about A/B testing thumbnails? Do you do it? What's your process like?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a process which I've sort of added it's not a synonym, is it an analogy? It's something else. The click process. So you've got CLIC, I think it's CK. I basically tried to create a methodology that sounds like click, and I can call it my own. But yeah, when you've got an idea that you want to create from, you then want to create your initial concepts of how you would package that content. You then want to leverage what has worked well on the platform by analysing videos in that sort of space. You then want to initiate the creation of your first 3 concepts. You then want to compare how they look on the platform. So thumbsup.tv is a good one. I think there's another one which is like thumbnail checker.
Yeah,
no.
well, actually, you guys can use the 1 of 10 Chrome extension,
Oh, really?
and
Is there
you
one
have
there
the
as well?
thumbnail preview.
Ah,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. Use that then. Yeah, use that. So yeah, compare how it looks on the platform with the other videos, and that's when you want to change or keep based on the A/B testing. And yeah, to be honest, man, it's just it's sort of how I think about that is you've got sort of main tests, which is one thing that's completely different to another. I do that when there isn't that much data behind this concept. If there is a lot of data behind this concept, I'd sort of trust your initiative and do 2 or 3 concepts that are fair, that aren't too crazy. And then where you'd sort of pull the lever and change the thumbnails is based around sort of things that you've seen generates clicks. So it might be stop wasting life. It might be do this now. It might be get disciplined now. You know, those are sort of little variables that we've seen perform well within our avatar. That's where we'll do a bit of A/B testing around that to see which is sort of flying around this concept.
Because earlier we talked about like one video can change your life, but actually one video can flop, but one thumbnail change can actually change your life, which is crazy to think about.
I agree. I agree. I do think the main reason why creators aren't successful and making a lot of money and living their dreams is because their videos aren't good enough. And I think a lot of creators do look at that like perfect thumbnail data before their content is even good enough. And so I'm not a huge fan of retrospectively changing thumbnails. I could be wrong in that. But the biggest problem that I see for small channels or channels getting started is it's an 80-20 rule, man. You want to focus on the areas that are really moving it forward, not the 20%, not spend 80% of your energy or even 50% of your energy on tweaking small marginal gains when I could have told you in 5 minutes the hook was crap, the packaging was crap. Minute 3, it's so boring. So that's an advice I'd say to people is like, don't get too crazy on the data. If you've not had a video explode and you're not good at creating videos.
No, that's true. I only say to change previous thumbnails if they have the time for it. But if not,
Yeah.
yes, like you said, the biggest leverage is work on the next thumbnail and the next idea.
Yeah.
And so on. So yeah, since leaving the channel 3 years ago, you've grown a successful business in the creator economy. This time behind the screen. How are you growing this agency? How is it going for you?
Man, to be honest, this sounds a bit like big-headed, but I'd say that the only really way that I'm growing it is just doing amazing work for people. So yeah, 50% of all of the clients are inbound. Sorry, 100% are inbound, 50% are referrals, probably a little bit more over the last 2-3 months are referrals. How I sort of visualize it is if you've got an entrepreneur who makes $1 million every single year, I think it's about 200 working days if you exclude weekends and holidays. Every working day is around $4,000. So if I can accelerate that process that they're going to take to getting good on YouTube, I can charge $2,000 a day for it. And because that's half their time, all I need to do is actually have a system that does that. And I do have a system that does that, you know? So yeah, that's sort of how I visualize it. It's very dialed in. An entrepreneur, 7-figure entrepreneur, wants to go on YouTube, will work out where he can best in the world at, where he enjoys creating content, do his niche analysis, coach him on hooks, packaging, all of that. It's pretty much it, man. It's not really rocket science, but we just have that simple thing dialed in so much. That's what we're cooking with at the moment.
You said we. What is your team?
To be honest, I said we. It's me and a head of operations. So just operations person. He helps with the research. He helps with the admin. The ongoing stuff of the company. I just sort of float about, pop into consulting calls, focus on the next step of the business, stuff like that.
What is the next step of the business?
Good question, man. Yeah, honestly, mate, I've actually been thinking about this for 18 months, and I've been thinking like, if YouTube is the most powerful tool for individual people to maximize their purpose, profit, and potential, what is the way that I can reach as many people and enable as many people to sort of take advantage of that as widely, but crucially as deeply as well. So if it was free content, maybe you'd get 100 million views on that, great. But is it deep impacts that you're having on them? Not really. So yeah, that's the sort of criteria I've been thinking of the next step of the business. How do we go as wide as possible, as deep as possible? And yeah, man, I'm still sort of playing around with that. I've got an offer that has been launched privately, which is essentially scaling this system that I've created, that I work one-on-one with people for, but it's done in a way that isn't as reliant on my time. So that means that I can actually talk about the business, which I never do. It's all inbound and it's all referrals. Why don't I actually start going on a few podcasts and creating content. So yeah, once I've nailed a product that people absolutely love, they're blown away with, it's the best in the world at what it does, that's when I can actually start marketing it and get out of the way of the business, basically.
And while doing this business, what does your week in the life of Jamie look like?
Oh mate, it's gonna be
Curious. Living in Mexico. Tell the viewer what's the dream like.
Yeah, man, it's gone a bit mad recently. So I've worked with Sahil Bloom, who else? Dan Martell, James Watt, the founder of Brewdog, which is $1.2 billion. He did that at 34 years old. And then I also watched a video by Layla Hormozy recently. Basically, these guys are rich, successful. Most of them are happy. I don't know if some of them aren't. But I'm like, right, I have never met anyone with a regimented daily routine like they've got who is unsuccessful. Yet here are 4 people that I watch, admire, are very successful. Half of them seem happy. Why don't I do that? So yeah, as of last Monday, I've been doing a bit of a mad schedule, mate. I'm up at 5, I'm meditating for 10 minutes, stretching out the body. I'll then do an hour and a half of deep work. I'll then, what I do then? Go to the gym or something. That'll be 7 till 8. I've got basically every 10 minutes of the morning planned out, even in the evening as well. It's a 2-week little trial. I'll trial it for a month, extend it if it works well. My Monday is a manager day. So I've got meetings with marketing, overseeing stuff, sales, overseeing stuff, product, overseeing stuff, YouTube strategy, overseeing stuff. So that's my maker day on Monday, and then my manager day on Monday. Tuesday, I've got my maker day. That's where I'm sort of improving the products that I've got. I think Wednesday, I've got a learn day. Half of the day is spent learning. Thursday is a doing day. That's a lot of the consulting stuff. And I think I'm working on sales. Friday is a bit more open, reading, be inspired. So yeah, I've recently become much more regimented on my schedule. Previously, it was not at all like that.
You said on Wednesday is learning day. How do you do your learning?
I just, either online courses or YouTube. Or like mentor sessions. I've got a mentor as well who I pay, for sessions.
And what's Saturday, Sunday looking like in beautiful Mexico?
Yeah, man. Saturday, I'm usually boxing with my mates in the park. That's usually 10 a.m. There's a ice bath sauna spot that's open up near me. I have been going there, not been recently. Yeah, man, just taking it easy, chilling. Sunday morning in Mexico, they got this thing called Domingo Familia, or Familia Domingo, and that's basically where you spend the Sunday with your family. My aunt married a Mexican 44 years ago. I've got 3 Mexican cousins. It's a bit of a weird one, random one. But yeah, I spend Sunday with my Mexican family here in Mexico. With my girlfriend. My girlfriend's sister and her husband live here, so I spend it with them. But yeah, man, it's nice. It's a nice life. I feel as though the UK and the US are very head-based societies, and Mexico is a very heart-based society. It's about dancing in the streets, singing super loud. If you went to a Mexico park and you just teleported the people, what they were doing there, into a London park, they would get sectioned, mate, honestly. No one would ever do what people do in Mexico in the parks there, but it's free and, it's nice. And so, yeah, it's cool, man, because I feel like I get the ambition of the online US entrepreneurs that I work with, but I get the humbleness and gratefulness and, the presence from the culture that I'm in Mexico.
Yeah, I live half the year in Spain, right? And what's exactly what you said. Basically, you would see kids running around at 1 a.m. in a park. You would never see that in the US.
It's nice, man, yeah. It sort of shakes your worldview a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, music in the street and all that. It's nice. So you're happy.
Yeah, man, very happy.
So after these few years of running this business, any lessons you've learned that you wish you would have known 2 years prior?
Yeah, loads, man, loads. Where do we want to start, man? Business lessons I've learned applying for YouTube, or just general business lessons?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, I think one thing that has been really impactful for me, I was always like a very big thinker, big dreamer, and I think what those types of people or those types of mindsets aren't great at is like managing it. So it's quite easy to feel overwhelmed. You want to do every idea. So I've had to sort of put guardrails up against my attention, which is what the schedule thing is helping with. But yeah, a really big unlock for that was like a weekly scorecard. So I've got every key area of the business on a scorecard. The idea is if you're on a abandoned island and you had to just take a snapshot of the health of the business, where is it at? So yeah, I've got marketing, how many impressions I got on Twitter, how many calls were booked, the net promoter score, how happy people are with the product, how many referrals we got in, revenue, cash, costs, stuff like that. So every single week that is filled in. I used to do it, my operations guy does it now. That's just nice, man. It's like I've got a pulse on the business. Every 3 months I do quarterly planning. So what are the goals? We usually separate into sales and marketing, which again, there's just been none of right now. Like the sales and marketing have been talking about the results. We talk about sales and marketing, product and admin and operations. That really, really helps. Yeah, we'll do yearly one when that's in place. That structure has really, really helped me from a business perspective, going from like big thinking, feeling overwhelmed to actually providing structure around the business.
Growing a YouTube business can be exhausting as you're always the bottleneck for production. So what is something creators can do to reduce the risk of burnout?
Yeah, man. I think you need a general manager or an head of operations or some people call it integrator. It's a bit annoying because there are a few words for it. But Ali Abdal has got Angus Parker, a good friend of mine, who just runs the show, man. And there was an interesting sort of analogy for how he thinks about it, is that Ali's above the clouds, being inspired, chatting with people, stuff like that, and below the clouds is like the runnings of the business. And I think the skills to be a creator is to be super creative, to have super high energy, to flow, to be your most authentic self without caring in the world. The skills to be a manager is the opposite of that. And I think when you're starting creating, you're spending 90% of the time where you're best in the world with that skill set at the beginning. The more successful you are, the more time you will spend being a manager. And that's hiring people, that's giving them holidays, that's reviewing contracts. Terrible. They're not complimentary whatsoever. So yeah, I think you need an operations person to run that stuff. How I do that as well, if I was a creator, is link that in with the producer. A producer has to be very organized. They have to organize where you are, when. And so yeah, I'd basically just get them to do the company scorecard, your accounts, all of that stuff.
Where do you see YouTube heading in the next few years, especially with AI impacting the space?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, man. I think they've shown a lot of resilience in being able to copy TikTok with YouTube Shorts. They have shown sort of decent leadership, I think, getting on TV screens and prioritizing that. They're beating Netflix at that. Got to give them kudos for that. But I think they're kind of fluking it, because the most disliked video ever was YouTube Rewind. I think it was 2020 or 2019. They're like, we're part of the culture, we know what we're doing. And they released a video summarizing the beauty of YouTube, and it is the most cringeworthy, most disliked video on the platform ever. That's pretty hard to do. And the second most disliked video ever was the Rewind they did the year after, saying, we heard you, we understand. And so that scares me a little bit. I think, TikTok seems to be way more aggressive on growth. TikTok Shop seems to be really, really interesting, way more advanced than YouTube. YouTube Shorts, I think they actually released that 7 months after India banned TikTok. That showed like fast moving. But yeah, they seem slow at these new features, I'd say. So yeah, man, I think they've done well with TV screens. They've done well copying Shorts. But are they at the forefront of moving forward? They've got such a solid base that it's going to be tough to knock them off the top spot. But yeah, I mean, my whole life and career is based around YouTube. I'm 8 years deep on this thing. So I really hope it's a very prosperous future. Mr. Beast thinks that. He knows more than me. A lot of my bubble think that. There are some cracks. But yeah.
You talked about Shorts. I'm curious your thoughts on it. Is it useful for business YouTuber to get at it, or is it a waste of time?
I'd definitely not say it's a waste of time. I think how useful it is, I'm not too sure. Again, I think if someone's starting out, you should choose one or the other. I think you should either go 80% in long form and then 20% of shorts there, or you just do shorts, but you don't do sort of 80% shorts with 20% long form. I spoke to this guy who's the short form editor for Robert Greene the other day, and they've got about 200 million views. And he sort of viewed them as like, they pop up on your radar, you know? They're sort of like brand recognition. It's like a flick. Robert Greene's here, flick. It's not a punch like a long form video can grip you with. It's a little flick. And so, yeah, I think it could be good for brand awareness, but in terms of converting, yeah, long form's king for that.
Yeah, that's what I think. So these are my last 3 questions. First, what is one piece of advice you'd give a person wanting to start a YouTube channel today?
I would say, instead of focusing on 10,000 subscribers, focus on $10,000. And instead of looking at 10,000 subscribers, look at 10,000 views instead. I would say, yeah, man. Like the average number of videos to hit 100,000 subscribers is like, I think it's 418. It's not pretty. That's a weekly video every single week for like 8 years. Good luck if you only start monetizing at the whim of a brand at 100,000 subscribers 8 years deep. Like, good luck, because you're doing that on your part-time salary. So yeah, look at how you can make money for YouTube. If you love creating, then sell a $100 package to give you your first 10 shorts, something like that. But yeah, I think something I say, the creator with an offer eats a creator without an offer every single day. It's so competitive on YouTube now. You need it to be a profitable machine from day one.
Number 2, what is one YouTuber that is growing, that is small, that you would invest in?
Ooh, he's not small, but man, I love this stuff. Is Channel 5 News, Andrew Callahan. Man, what he's doing is very, very interesting because he's creating a network and it's not on his name. Like you mentioned, a lot of creators have a bottleneck. Colin Smith talked like a top-down pyramid where the creator's at the bottom and it can topple whenever the creator's ill or sick or doesn't want to create. It's all on them. And Channel 5 News with Andrew Callahan recently did a video in Mexico City, and hey, Andrew Callahan did a really good voiceover, but he wasn't in the video whatsoever. So I think it's so interesting that of having Channel 5 News all over the world that's decentralized with presenters that sort of fit the brand guidelines. That is very, very, very powerful. That is a very, very powerful media asset that people can genuinely invest in. You can genuinely invest in that. It's hard to invest in a name and a face.
And finally, you said earlier you're happy, you're living the dream. But I'm curious, what's the end dream? What's the big dream out of all of this?
Man, there was a good moment like a year ago when someone asked me that question, and it felt so good, man. Because the dream wasn't to achieve something new, it was to retain something that I already had. And I still feel that. Man, when I die when I'm 80, I want to be old. I want to be peaceful. I want to be happy. I want to have a beautiful family around me. I want to be somewhat healthy. Now, going from 80 to now, I want to be peaceful. I want to be passionate about what I'm working on. I want to enjoy each day. I want to appreciate moments. Yeah, it's very easy to look for. Every time you look forward, you can't look in two places at once. You can't look forward, back, and now at the same time. So yeah, there are sort of business goals. But yeah, the main thing, honestly, man, is staying with what I've got and being really happy throughout the process.
You're definitely in the beautiful path to that 80-year-old dream. Jamie, thanks for joining us on the 1 of 10 podcast, and hope you had a good time.
Thanks for having me, man, and yeah, congrats on your success so far. Like I said, I don't think it was recording, but VidCon last year, I felt like 1 of 10 was really just a cool little side hustle that people were talking about, and now it's really a staple in a lot of creators' toolkits. So yeah, congrats what you've done, man. It's creating a tech product is no easy feat. So yeah, man, kudos to you.
Thank you. Appreciate coming from you. We're trying hard for the goal to help everyone grow their channel and increase the high quality content online.
Absolutely, man.
Check out this other video, and thanks. Peace.